Hi chums. Somebody said to me last night, what do you call the cat? Tripod. And I said, no, we don't call it tripod because I wasn't allowed to call it tripod in case I gave it a complex. So there was another cat here which was the sister of that one, and I called it Four Legs, so it didn't give this thing a complex. And then I called this one whatever name came into my head, because seeing as I wasn't allowed to pick a name, I wouldn't let anybody pick a name. So every day it's called something else. It could be Beyonce, or Harry, or Eddie, or Jim. It doesn't matter, male or female, it doesn't really matter. And what do you call it? Any like Amy Winehouse, or any famous person you want to think of. That cat is called that. Whatever name comes into my head on the day when I walk out, that's what she is for the day. So she's no name really, you know. And there she goes. Now she's in the whole world can see her licking her arse. Isn't that lovely? Right. So today's work, not a whole lot of difference today, because there's a lot of sort of tail endy type stuff. You can see around here, they've done the scudding in round here, and they've done it down this wall here. You can see everything is a complete mess. That's just the scudding all over the grounds. It's it's just like water, and it sticks to the wall and gives that key. As you can see here, we've scudded down both sides here and up there. We haven't done up to the top yet because they need a scaffold for that, and we've scudded over there. But I'm going to show you a wee bit of attention to detail. That looks pretty rough, doesn't it? Right, and it's the same on this side. It's pretty rough looking as well. But where do you see this? You can see from the inside of the house that when we walk out the back door, we didn't build this house, like we didn't build these garages, we extended towards these garages, and then the idea was that we would end knocking them down, but we haven't actually done that yet. But what my friend Shimmy did was, he said, look, I'm going to get the boys to cut the corner off there and over there, so that if you're walking out, you don't get your shirt or a blouse or something caught on the plaster as you go past. So he's going to round those corners over, and it'll look really nice, just so we don't get our jumpers caught and our shirts caught. So that's the sort of attention to detail that I would never think of, you know, but that's what these boys do, and that's their job. So I'm delighted with it, you know. I'll just walk around this way here and show you Suki again. So she's Suki today, you see. Isn't that right? You're Suki today, aren't you? Oh, look at how cute I am. Tell me how many goldfinches you ate today, little bastard. How many goldfinches? Huh? How many? 4? How many? 3. Right. So here we go around here now. Notice the other place is just too wet to go around. I'll just show you the house now when it's sort of drying out. And as you can see, it's all like one colour now, because the render has, not the render, the stuff, everything's called the stuff. And if they don't want that, they want the other stuff. And you hear them, what do you want? The stuff? Which one? They say, make the other stuff, make that stuff, make the stuff, make the other stuff, you know. There was a roaring match here yesterday, and I didn't know what it was. And I could hear the builders, the plasterers screaming at these youngsters out in the street. And when I got round, you know what it was? There's a football club down the road here where the kids go to a summer scheme. So they were heading down with their football tops on for that club. And the plasterers were screaming the name of another club down the road, which are mortal enemies of this club. And they were torturing these youngsters, shouting about the tones and the Sarsfields and all the rest of it. And the kids loved it, you know. And then later on, you'd hear them coming up the street, and they were screaming at the builders before you could even see them, just get the first word in. So it's good-natured banter, you know. But you know, that's what makes a good job site, when there's a bit of a laugh, and the boys can have a carry on, but they get the work done. These boys never stop, you know. My mate comes in and supervises them, and he doesn't need to be here because they just work and work and work. They're really good. So there we are, folks. That's where we are. I got my grass cut today. Well, I didn't get my grass cut. My friend's son cut it for me, and he did a pretty good job on it, considering it was really wet this morning. But then you see, when you've got visitors coming, you want to make sure the place is looking kind of half decent, because the house is a complete shit heap, but the rest of the place, I'll try and get some sort of order. I'll just show you my corn before I go here. It's not looking too bad. We're getting the tassels are starting to come now. It's a bit late, but we'll see how we get on, you know. And we're getting peas on the flowers on the peas even. And there's Dan's big pumpkins, or what do you call them big things? marrows, and they're not setting any fruit. Oh, look, there's flowers coming now. Oh, we're laughing. And then these don't put your, well, you can for a while put your lettuces in among your pumpkins or your marrows, but they don't last long. They just shoot very quickly. Hillary, there's my giant cabbages, and they're being decimated by something, but they're nice and hard, you know. But see, next year will be a different story. Beetroot, and there's what my pride and joy so far this year, onions. The onions are really, really good. They're really big. Like, just lift, there's one there, just lift that one. Look at the size of that. I have a big hand, and that's the full of it, you know. So I'm very pleased with the onions. The difference this year, I used one called Centurion, which I'd never used before, but I did something different. Paul and Chris and Ian, I can't remember which one I copied off, but I've copied off at least one of you, and all three, start them in cells. I'd never done that before. So started them in cells in the greenhouse and then put them out. And the only difference I made was I planted them 6 inches apart. And instead of having them 10 inches apart or 9 inches apart, I had them about 11 inches apart in rows. So instead of getting 5 rows out of a 4-foot bed, I got 4 rows. And okay, I sacrificed 1 row, but I got much better onions for the sake of it. So I'm not going to try overloading my beds in future. It was okay when I had 5 or 6 beds, but I've got 22 now, so I can afford to space the stuff properly, you know. So that's it. So I'll give you a wee final look at the garden before we go. It's about to rain, I think. There's a couple of wee specks just as I was doing a bit up at the house there. This is all for my pumpkin patch. When these trees come down eventually, this will be the pumpkin patch. And then there's a bed that wasn't even used this year, and there's potatoes growing out of it from 2 years ago, and there's potatoes in the pumpkin as well. And folks, let's wind up the excitement and anticipation a bit. I had to make a few drastic changes down here in the last couple of days. Look at my potatoes. Every single pot of potatoes had to have the haulms taken off because they got a huge battering with the wind, and I also noticed some blight. But the interesting thing was the Sarpo Miras had blight as well, and they don't normally get it. But the other side of this whole story is I was late getting things going this year, so that could be part of it. August is blight month in Ireland anyway. But look at this one here. That one there, where the spuds, I had to top it up, and that one there might just be the skins. So I think I'm going to be opening that one at the weekend and see how we get on with that one. Alright, we'll do the skins this weekend. Seeing as you've all been very good and well behaved, we'll do the skins. Okay then, so I'm way over to my mate's garage now to see what's going on and to put all the world's wrongs right, and hopefully everything will go alright. Incidentally, just a wee final tip for you folks. There you are, beans. Those were broad beans. You can see where I've left the stalks in the ground because they're covered in little nitrogen nodules, and you want to leave that nitrogen in for the next crop, which I don't know what it is. But there's brassicas, and then there's roots. The roots don't like nitrogen, so it's brassica, others roots, and then brassicas, others. I think that's the way it is there, you know. Anyway, whatever it is, I'll get it right when the time comes. I can't remember now. And the other final thing, look at the size of my bed. There's scaffold planks, 6 years old, and they were condemned scaffold planks, so they rots in them now, you know. So I have to replace some of those. But at the price they came at, I'm happy enough because it didn't cost me a penny. So I'll just pull that one out and stick another one in because I've got loads more here that I bought in a cheap off Coventry. So there you are. Right, that's it now. I've up to 9 minutes. That's too long. Right, all the best now. Bye bye.